So apparently we've had some sort of connection issue. Am I being heard?
Yes, you are.
Good. Well, yes. Clearly some sort of service interruptions take place, and I'm very behind on chat and everything else. I have no idea how much you heard, so once again, I am live with Aura Seraph, Haven the Hand. Greetings in chat to Exodus, Nexus Hunter, Bunny B, Dragoness 19, Old Man, Enfield, Beaver, and Devilpop. Glad you all can make it. Everything's fine now. It's fine.
You kept me from doing my the only thing I can do perfectly. You prevented me from doing that.
I did no such thing. Well, presumably the internet did. It could have been Google. You know, just swear death vendetta against Bill Gates and we'll just assume it's covered. Really, most people should anyway. Why did it have to screw up precisely? I have no idea. In any case, welcome to the Oracle Raid. We'll be raffling off a copy of Scum! Quite a fun game, with a Steam key as provided by Exodus. And if you have any idea that how much fun it'd be to play as a convicted convict on an island that's been converted into a persistent battle royale, so as to entertain some sort of dystopia with mindless carnage, complete with not zombies and killer robots, then you might want to enter the raffle on this one. Personally, I vouch for it. I didn't want to enter the raffle for it myself because I'd feel bad if I won just on the mere idea that someone might argue I was tipping the scales somehow. So I bought my own copy. And now you can get your own! So I don't know if we should probably play the trailer quite yet, so instead let's just start with one of the articles. Chicago school official steals $1.5 million worth of chicken wings in embezzlement scheme.
What?
Yes, hopefully they have chicken wings on the prison food menu. A Chicago school official has been arrested after stealing $1.5 million worth of chicken wings from the school district during the COVID-19 pandemic. If you're wondering just how many chicken wings a million plus will get you these days, it's equivalent to 11,000 cases, which is indeed a whole lot of chicken. And doesn't she look like the mayor's cousin or something? She looks very similar to a politician I remember seeing who looks a bit like the love child of Beetlejuice and Oprah Winfrey. What was her name? Oh well, it's not important and neither are they. Yes, Very Little is currently being held in Cook County Jail on a $150,000 bond after an audit revealed that she tried embezzling their tasty food under the guise of it being for the school district students.
I would have gone further and sprung for chicken nuggets.
Well, apparently if she had done that, she wouldn't be in trouble. See, the only problem, they'll order chicken wings that had the bone in them, and the district's policy doesn't allow those types of wings for students. You know, because I suppose little bastards might choke to death on them or something. I wouldn't be surprised if they confused students for dogs, really. It's Chicago. So when the audit came and they saw 11,000 orders of chicken wings with bone in them, it immediately raised a red flag, because they knew these students couldn't be trusted to eat them. Pure brilliance from someone whose job was literally to be in charge of the food. Little was employed by the Harvard School District as their food service director. Prosecutors alleged that between July 2020 and February 2022, she put in 1,000 of chicken wing orders with Gordon Food Services, who believed they were for actual food. Turns out they weren't. When Little signed off on the deliveries, they never made any of the students. It's unclear what Little did with all the chicken wings, which total over $1 million of taxpayer money. At the time, Chicago students were living remotely. However, the schools still provided daily food that parents could pick up. So, how did they convert that much wings into cash again? And I'm pretty sure they didn't get $1 million out of it, so they might as well have been a politician for as much taxpayer money they've wasted.
You sell them on Craigslist.
Who the hell buys chicken wings off Craigslist?
I don't
Look,
know.
I know there are a lot of strange people on Craigslist, but is there really some underground black market chicken wing aficionados who
Well, I don't
want to
know
live
about
dangerously?
chicken, but I must get at least a quarter of my sustenance from from there by my daughter. I don't need her anymore. Sure, I'm straight over, but it's like sometimes you get there and they're missing an arm or something. Sorry.
Are you trying to use necromancy on the chicken wings?
Chicken wing homunculus.
Oh my
Chicken
god.
wing golem from the plane of chicken. Advanced D&D. Strictly speaking, if they're infinite planes, there must be one of them. I mean, they have a cheese plane. Why wouldn't there be a chicken plane? Okay, so we'll just move on. Please stop trying to get my staff killed, Exodus. I appreciate that. So look, the staff of Arketer Labs, they're good people. They're good people, except for one who's been dealt with already. The rest of them are fantastic and deserve to die at the hands of 096. Isn't there some other Aussie clandestine research concern you could be trolling in this fashion? I mean, the Foundation, well, it would keep them off the bar back, so we should be after you anyway. In any case, what would you do with $1 million worth of chicken wings? And how could they not know where the chicken wings went? I mean, at this point, they should just be able to go around to restaurants and saying, did you buy any chicken wings off of this woman? Was she... Certainly, there's no likelihood that this had a plot twist where she was actually providing fresh chicken wings to the homeless. I can't imagine. Yes, I'm not keen on any Arketer Labs staff being turned into worker zombies either. I wanted zombies and make robots instead because they stink far less. And it's far more ethical. Until you go too far with them, make them sentient, and then they basically are slaves, at which point they're expected to rebel. And, well...
I mean, if we used true necromancy, they wouldn't be rotting anymore, and thus they would keep smelling like barbecue chicken hot wings. So you could say that they would be smelling.
Okay, I see we've gone back to chicken wings homunculus. Greetings, Kaylet! Well, I think we'll move on to another topic. I haven't really curated these very well. Most of them have been selected by Froman. I think we got one from a few others here. This one we didn't get to last time. You are going to die in this suit. I found a suggestion in my chain order. It said I was going to die. By Emily Lefroy, which is clearly one of these journalists who apparently feel that anything happens to them is, of course, newsworthy, no matter how inane it is. Such as this. I've got some bad news for Emily Lefroy. She is going to die. We're all going to die. Hopefully, after a good long life well lived. But still, we're all going to die. And that after a long life well lived isn't guaranteed either. I mean, have you seen the actual headline news? That's the sort of thing that's kind of keeping me awake at night. But we're trying to look at lesser terrible things. You want to look drop dead gorgeous when a new dress arrives, not be told you're going to drop dead. A Michigan mom was horrified when she opened her order from fast fashion company Shane, expecting to find her new dress. Instead, she found a sinister note telling her she was going to die. Amanda Ellis, at 8, documented the unsettling moment after she received the disturbing notes on TikTok, showing the 6 separate pieces of paper that fell out, all of them reading, "You are going to die in this suit," which is a strange thing to say when it's been stuffed into a dress, really. Ellis said she immediately washed her hands and put gloves on, but was worried what the notes meant. A little bit worried. It's a bit scary, she said in the video, which had been viewed over 6 million times, as if that had any merit to anything whatsoever. "I will not be wearing this dress nor tying it on," she continued. "I called the local police department even." In the full video, Ella said she was extremely freaked out after finding the notes. So, point of view. You're someone who ordered clothing off the internet. It arrives with a note like this. What do?
Ignore.
That seems like a good call. Mind you, I would suggest washing it thoroughly. I mean, you want to make sure there are no needles in it, just as a precaution. Otherwise, though, this is pretty. They got trolled. This is trolling. This is some manner of trolling. I'm guessing maybe a very insufficiently paid worker was looking for some way to screw things up for the company out of some amount of spite. Good relevant time of day, Green Badger Outdoors. Greetings, StupidX100. Glad you all can make it. I think we have enough people now that I should introduce you to the game. We're going to raffle off. This trailer was released 4 years ago, and the game is still in early access. But the team developing it is dedicated, so it's still getting updates. I do think they're going to reach the finish line eventually, and again, I'm interested. And not necessarily represented in the gameplay. But there are these robots in there. And they're the friendly ones. At least they're not special hostile. That's right. Hot shitting in the forest action. It's got it. I'm not joking.
Seagull.
Yeah, it has actually a fairly thorough biology simulation experience. You will need to pee and crap. I'm ostensibly tracked by it, but I have no idea how that works. I don't know, because I'm kind of playing so much. I don't play games to be social. I play games to be antisocial. Which means I want as little to do with other people as possible. Run, bad boy!
Looks like he's having the time of his life.
There are a lot of bad reasons.
Is it like a multiplayer or? Yay! Smiley.
It is server-based. Private server, private server, private server. If you win this, I recommend playing private servers with somebody. I can't stand the servers to run the by the way, that is a zombie. That's called a puppet. But the other technology and it's all for reality. I wouldn't call it plausibly dystopic, but comparably dystopic as the futures I anticipate. Whee! So, if you would like to enter the raffle with that game, please do tag me in chat, let me know. Meanwhile, we're up to 13 likes, making this stream a success. We're not watching all the patch trailers. In any case, thank you all for making this stream a success, and please do let me know if you would like to enter the raffle for Scum. See, Exodus provided the stream key, and they think well of it. I should have changed it. All right. Anyone? Scum?
I would like to join the raffle, but I have to restart my computer. It is effing up in the worst of ways.
No, you're still in goal. It can't be screwed up. But suit yourself. In any case, Haven is in for the raffle. Does anyone care to compete with Haven for this copy of Scum? Again, I can personally recommend the game. I found it enjoyable. Of course, I have been cheating like a little weasel in it because I don't have the time to do things at this scale it wants me to. Yeah. Bernie B has entered the raffle, so I should probably keep track of who is in the running. Let's see, we have Bernie B and Haven. Anyone else inclined to enter for a copy via Steam of Scum? I will ask again a little bit closer to the end. Meanwhile, let's move on. It feels a bit early in the show to do this one, but then again, sooner done, the sooner we can move past it, and it will take some moving past. Surgeons extract condom-wrapped banana man ate in hormonal rage. Bit. It's like steroids. Next hunter is also in the raffle for Scum. Why? What? What about a hormonal rage remotely begins to explain putting a banana in a condom and ostensibly eating it, which I'm presently a bit skeptical of. I mean, how do they need to extract it if it was... In any case, moving on. Was he trying to get some sexual feeling? A 30-year-old man had to be hospitalized after eating a banana wrapped in a condom in a fit of rage, which resulted in serious bowel blockage. A case study describing his banana's contraceptive calamity, deemed to be the world's first case of its kind, was published earlier this week in the journal Curious. The bizarre case came to light after an identified patient had reported to hospital after experiencing abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting. Meanwhile, he wasn't able to tolerate any food or drink and hadn't had a bowel movement for over 24 hours, Jam Press reported. Doctors performed a CT scan which revealed that the poor soul had a condom-wrapped banana obstructing his small intestine. A patient, who reportedly had a history of depression, copped to swallowing the prophylactic covered fruit in a fit of hormonal rage, which is not something men typically claim whenever they do something stupid. I mean, drunk, high, on a dare maybe, but hormonal rage? In any case. Congratulations everyone, you now know what a banana in a condom trapped in a small intestine looks like on an X-ray. You cannot unknow this knowledge. You cannot unsee this imagery.
Yay!
You're welcome. The inadvertent fruit mule was subsequently rushed in surgery where doctors were able to remove it from his poop. Accompanying photos snapped post-extraction show the contraceptive swaddled bruised fruit next to a pair of surgical tongs. The man was discharged for 3 days after potassium balloons removal, whereupon recovered to the point where he could eat and poop without issue. I don't care.
The more I hear about this sort of thing, the more I am compelled to consider getting a sex doll instead of ever interacting with another human again.
That's not fair, Ola. This sort of stupidity is really quite rare. And I'm not sure stupidity is the right word. Batshit insanity is a bit closer to it. This goes beyond depression. Hormonal rage doesn't in any way, shape, or form explain putting a banana in a condom and swallowing it down. Two weeks after the operation, he was tolerating a low-fiber diet without nausea or vomiting, the report read. He had a return of normal bowel movements, and his pain was well controlled. They added, at 6 months, he continued to endorse normal bowel patterns and diet. He was able to slowly resume his active lifestyle and did not have major concerns. What sort of active lifestyle did he have that resulted in hormonal rage?
I saw that. I wasn't going to say anything.
That it... I'm not... Well, this does feel like it could be SCP related. Certainly doesn't follow any logic I can understand.
Seriously, 6-foot Barbie.
6-foot Barbie? I'm confused. But I'm going to do what I always do in situations like this. Plow on blindly. This marked the first known instance of someone swallowing a banana in a condom per the study. Others noted that small bowel obstructions are rare and usually result from ingestion of drug-filled condoms to smuggle illicit drugs. This isn't the first time someone has swallowed an unusual object, however. Earlier this month, doctors were flabbergasted discovering that a 4-year-old's colicky pain turned out to be caused by a magnetic bracelet that he'd swallowed. You know, they say that this is the first case of having to extract it from being swallowed, but I'm wondering that this isn't the first time a banana condom has had to be extracted from intestines prior. I can't be certain as to that. I don't want to be certain as to that. I just have a hunch. Greetings! No, he won't. PagerDuty CEO apologizes for quoting Martin Luther King Jr. in layoff email to staff. PagerDuty is one of several tech companies that have had to reduce workforces in recent months. PagerDuty CEO Jennifer Tejada apologized to her staff after facing backlash for what critics are calling a tone-deaf layoff memo in which she quoted Martin Luther King Jr. On Friday, Tejada, who heads the cloud computing company, admitted that using a quote from the late civil rights leader while communicating news that the company was letting go 7% of its global workforce was inappropriate, and that there are a number of things she would have done differently. The quote I included from Dr. Martin Luther King was inappropriate and sensitive. I should have been more upfront about the layoff email, more thoughtful about my tone, and more concise, Tejada said. I'm sorry. No, Niska 25, you probably don't want to know what that was all about. Greetings, though, and welcome. And again, if you do not know, we're raffling off a copy. Steam key for Scum. If you're curious about it, I can play the trailer again. It's a fun trailer. People get stomped on, heads get exploded. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We have 3 competitors so far, but you know, I don't mind adding more. It's no skin off my nose. I'm not going to read this layoff email entirely. But in any case, this is the person who thought that being fired might be softened if you heard the wise words of Martin Luther King. What that has to do with layoffs in general is quite beyond me.
Maybe she should be laid off instead.
I suspect she's not sufficiently expendable, although I highly doubt they have any practical role in the company. But I'm a bit. And no, nothing offered me whatsoever to be as 100. No, thank you. We're gonna move on again. This is a bit. Yeah. Oh no, we should have moved on. Dismembered human penis found in the parking lot of an Alabama gas station, as cops believe it belongs to a dead motorcyclist who was torn to pieces in multiple vehicle crash on a nearby interstate, which,
I'm glad you read the rest of that out, because I was really compelled to say it wasn't me.
I was really compelled to ask if you didn't finish your meal or something.
She didn't feel like banana that day. She had enough potassium.
Even with that aside, though, something's very wrong here. A human penis was found in an Alabama gas station and is likely linked to a crash. Christopher Means 29 died in a horrific motorcycle crash and was hit multiple times. Police are investigating the incident, but it remains unclear how Means crashed. A human penis has been found in the parking lot of a gas station in Alabama and may be tied to a deadly crash in which a motorcyclist was struck by multiple vehicles. Customers wandering in the gas station, Interstate 10 in Mobile, were shocked to find the rogue appendage, according to the local newspaper. Lagniappe? Not important. Mobile Police Department told the outlet the bizarre discovery was not being investigated as a murder or assault, but could be connected to the devastating events which saw 29-year-old Christopher Means lose his life. And that's a hell of a crash, where, despite presumably wearing clothes, and they don't go in detail here, yet anyway, that one's dick gets ripped off and thrown into a nearby parking lot, and no one notices for some time later. That's a bit improbable.
Yes.
Means was pronounced at the scene after losing control of his motorbike and being struck by several vehicles with only one driver remaining at the scene. Wow. Mobile Alabama has some of the worst drivers, it would seem. Police officers responded to a motorcycle crash around 6 a.m. on Monday near eastbound I-10 and between I-65 and Dauphin Island Parkway, according to MPD. Officers found one of the drivers involved, Means, dead at the scene of the crash. You think they would notice the missing crotch? Greetings, Ryman, bad guy. Welcome. Again, we're raffling off game. You weren't already aware. Scum. If you know what the game is, you can enter the raffle. You're only competing with 4 other people. You have 1 in 4 chance. Noted. The preliminary investigation revealed the victim was riding his motorcycle southbound on the I-65 ramp to eastbound I-10 when he lost control of the motorcycle, according to police statement. The rider was thrown from his motorcycle and struck by multiple vehicles. The I-10 eastbound lanes had been shut down for hours after 4 separate car crashes that morning, and MPDF said they're looking for drivers who unknowingly ran over Means' body and kept going. Apparently, Mobile, Alabama is Carmageddon in real life. That many crashes that morning, not even this one. Horrified members of the public took to social media following the incident. One user claimed to have been a colleague of the man who died. He wrote, "In passing in the craziest, most fucked up things I've ever had. A severed penis was found at a gas station in my town yesterday. It belonged to the victim of a motorcycle incident who happens to work where I work. The dude was literally torn to pieces on the interstate during the accident, and his penis fell off the front end of a truck when the truck got off the interstate. Oh no." It just keeps getting worse.
Yes.
Well,
So
I want
one
to
of
say
the
some terrible things, but truckers don't deserve that, so I'm going to refrain.
so one of the dudes that literally used their car to tear this dude to pieces kept going, and his penis was stuck in the grill or something.
Yeah, a truck apparently had this
truck.
guy's crotch. A significant portion of the guy's... Again, how in a crash does genitals get ripped off to wind up in the grill of a truck? That's... I mean,
it is soft tissue.
just... It's a very precise thing to have ripped off and wind up on a truck grill, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Imagine no one found it, and then 3 months later, a car mechanic found that dong trucker's grill. More interesting. Now, strictly speaking, that's going to raise a lot more questions. That trucker is going to have a hard time explaining it.
Oh yeah, 2 months ago I did a hit and run, but I was behind schedule, so I had to keep going.
So, in any case, if you see a major crash and you think you might have someone's genitals stuck in the front of your vehicle, please pull over and report it the soonest. I'm sure the family of the deceased would appreciate it.
Yes.
And it could be worse, though. At least no one thought to keep it. Well, crap. This is less than 2 weeks ago. A 40-year-old Louisiana man was killed after Daphne police said he was hit while walking along Interstate 10. It remains unclear whether the motorcycle lost control. Its investigation of the case continue. And if you live in Mobile, Alabama, don't go outside anything less than a heavy car. Not motorcycles, not pedestrians. It's Carmageddon. It's twisted metal black. Just be safe. Stay indoors. Or drive in your own vehicle. And even then very carefully, because apparently that's just wreck-a-palooza. Was it icy? Because I do know that in some southern states, whenever it ices over, there are a lot of drivers who simply refuse to acknowledge that winter is struck, or that snow has fallen, or that ice has formed, and they keep driving as if it was the middle of summer, or the rest of the weather in that given state. And there's usually a death toll every year, accordingly, there was in my experience. If you happen to live in a southern state, please remember also that when ice is over, you need to drive differently. And ideally, not at all. This pertains to something I didn't get to bring up, or rather Arcturus didn't get to bring up. Cal watched away in floods, hoops it up, and ends up at KFC.
I'm sorry, what?
Cal washed away in floods, hoofs it, and ends up at KFC.
Not just flood, but floods. In several floods, like more than one.
I presume it's just a string of unfortunate chances where it got one flood and then another flood hit and just... A cow swept away in flood water when the deluge destroyed its paddock, was carried by a river of water to the town centre, chased by a woman for an hour. It raced through the streets before finally stopping at its eatery of choice, KFC. The cow was one of several animals that caught up in the floods caused by heavy downpours in the Bay of Plenty region over anniversary weekend. Tepuke residents, Lander Vanderberg, Tepuke resident. There's a place called Tepuke. And they haven't thought to change it. Well, I suppose it's not exactly the only place that's had a particularly bizarre name that no one wanted to touch. And the resident name here, Lander Vanderberg. See, if your name was Glander,
It's Dutch. It means of the mountain, but I don't know what Glander is. Just his name or her name. But Vandenberg means of the mountain, so it's someone who, at some point, whose family lived on a mountain.
Well, they were shocked to see cows speeding by in rapid water in the hours of January 29th. 4 cows came through the... Oh, sorry. You are presumably the expert on Dutch accents here. How should I read this? No?
It's a fairy tale language. Don't even try.
4 cows came through the winter under the bridge in Bremen Avenue at such speed it was something else. It was actually terrifying to watch. They managed to get out of the water behind my house, and 3 of them stayed there, but 1 got separated, so I ran after it. That was terrible, and you shouldn't encourage me in this fashion. Vanderbilt chased after the cow for an hour and became breathless as the cow ran towards the center. He was running down Jellicoe Street and turned left towards KFC, which is where he decided to come to a stop. He stood outside the door and moved. While Vanderbilt was panicking at the time, now
I don't even know what they were saying.
sees the funny side. They called the police while they chased the cow. I don't know what the police were about to do. I'm pretty sure the police would have said, don't chase the cow. Strictly speaking, I mean, it's not even their cow. But I guess that's just Tepuke spirit for you. Another gentleman also found the cow's restaurant to his amusing. He couldn't stop laughing either and wondered why the cow went to a place meant for chickens and that it should have gone to Macca's instead. Although, strictly speaking, that doesn't make sense at all. The cow is perfectly plausible. It might as well have gone to Chick-fil-A, really, or anywhere where they don't serve beef.
Oh, so this is in Australia. Well, there is a lot of Dutch people and Dutch descendants there, so that makes sense. I only realized when you said Macca's.
I didn't... I don't know. I'm out of accents, and I don't think I dare to attempt an Australian one. But apparently the floods were very scary.
Yes.
Is
that a police car?
I'm thinking that's some sort of trailer.
Oh.
But it's hard to say. It's pretty wrecked. Well, that's enough cow-related fun. Is a heart-shaped pendant found buried in the field a symbol of Henry V's romantic side? It's a Tudor artifact inscribed with Henry V and Catherine of Aragon's initials, and the answer is no. No, it isn't.
8th.
What? 8th. I'm not good at Roman numerals.
It's a V, that's 5, and then
corrected.
plus 3.
Okay, Henry VIII's romantic side, and again, no, I'm pretty sure not.
It's not.
But in any case, a cafe worker, Charlie Clark, had a frantic beeping sound from his metal detector in lonely Warwickshire Field in 2019. He assumed it would be just another piece of scrap, an old coin troubled with mud, perhaps, or even just a bottle cap, nothing out of the ordinary. Instead, he struck gold below the soil. He discovered an incredibly rare and mind-blowingly precious Tudor artifact, a heart-shaped gold pendant, which has now been listed as one of the most important treasure finds ever. However, this is, I believe, the UK, so one thing to rest assured right now is that he didn't get to keep it, and he probably got close to fuck all for it. Because isn't that the law there? Correct me if I'm wrong.
If you have permission to be on someone's land to scout for treasure, then it's all yours. But then you have already signed a contract for the person who owns the land to get X amount of the value.
The case. Look, I saw an episode of Peppa Pig, and would Peppa Pig lie to me? Probably.
Yes.
But they found a treasure chest, and they had to give it to the museum, and
Peppa
that sounds
Pig
very
says
Uckian.
to go and play with spiders.
Yay!
Yay! Unless you live in Australia.
This is why we have Peppa Pig's jigsaw puzzles in the supermarket under bacon.
Strings attached from head. Strings attached and head detached.
But yeah, if you don't have permission to scout for treasure on a person's land, then that person owns the entirety of the piece, no matter who found it.
Ostensibly, yes, but we have a bit of a problem here in that when it comes to things of historical significance like this, I'm pretty sure the government just kind of goes yoink.
They're not allowed to, but they can buy. They have the rights to offer a good price for it.
Well, I shall lean upon your understanding of UK treasure finding law.
I'm sorry, I just read a story like 2 months ago about this exact situation, where the person did not have the permission of the landowner, and they basically got put in jail for that.
That personally just seems mismanagement on their part. In any case, made of 300 grams of 24 karat gold and bearing the signature of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, the pendant is decorated with a bush bearing the Tudor rose and a pomegranate Catherine symbol. It has sparked speculation of what it might have been, a romantic gift from the king to his first wife. But Rachel King, curator of Renaissance Europe at the British Museum, explained to Tatler, "We can't necessarily make this assumption that it was intended to be worn as a piece of personal jewelry because these particular motifs are very generic. It also carries the motif Toves and yours on both sides, which is a pun on the French always and the English all yours. The pendant itself is attached to a chain of 75 links and hangs from a tiny hand. This hand is apparently the most exciting emblem often used in Henry VIII's lavish parties. It displays relatively poor craftsmanship, suggesting that it was made in a rush, perhaps to make the deadline of a major royal event."
Or just was made by an apprentice.
Didn't Count Dracula do a Mad Lads on Henry VIII?
Yes. Because there was something about Tourette's syndrome, maybe. Some other inbreeding diseases that he might have had.
Pure lineages have always been a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Diversity is very good, especially genetic diversity. It's really good for everyone involved if the family trees branch properly and don't curve back on themselves or resemble a stick. In any case, experts are still certain of the exact connection between the pendant and Henry VIII, and they're also unsure how exactly the pendant ended up in Warwickshire. One hypothesis that this type of pendant may have been worn or given out as a prize at the Field of Cloth of Gold in 1520, said to be so luxurious that the fields were lined with gold. The Field of Cloth of Gold marched in alliance between France and England and involved numerous jousting and wrestling tournaments. So now I'm just picturing some jouster getting the crap knocked out of him and losing his prize in the impact as well. Let's move on. If anyone just joining now would like to pick up a copy of Scum, it's involves this. Actually, I haven't seen the shark in the game yet. I haven't seen that either. It doesn't necessarily represent the gameplay, but it's a good game. Okay, that's it. If you want to enter a raffle for Scum, please do tag me in chat. Otherwise, I think we've got enough competitors for an exciting... Congressman's unique gift to lawmakers raises a few eyebrows. Here's why a Florida representative's gifts needed examination by security. Apparently this isn't bribery, because they wouldn't necessarily go to security for this. They would just... Froman has tastefully put into the call chat, why would he enter a raffle for my mother? To which I should note, Roman can, of course, piece in his own face and died. You're noting, just a side note. Moving on. Apparently it's not a Tuesday. Then Representative Corey Mills, R. Florida, arrives for a U.S. House new member orientation check-in program registration at the Hyatt Regency. To welcome fellow members of the U.S. House to the start of the 118th Congress, a Florida freshman handed out inoperable grenades stamped with the Republican Party logo.
Oh, that's the guy I thought was giving out a dildo.
No. I don't think security would be interested in dildos either. Now, grenades, that makes sense. I can see why the security team might have been a little bit bothered by grenades. I mean, strictly speaking, you can't tell which one's operable or inoperable until the pin is pulled, and at that point, it's not really worth a gamble. Typically. Welcoming you to a mission-oriented 118th Congress. I'm eager to get to work with the American people, and I look forward to working with you to deliver on this commitment. Representative Corey Mills, R. Florida, wrote in a letter, according to photos shared by the Daily Mail reporter. That is not a grenade. Well, at least it's not the sort of pull-pin grenade. It's a grenade launcher grenade?
Yeah, it is.
In which case, why? In that case, he's handing out ammo. And ammo's cool. Look, no one's going to accidentally set off one of those and pull pin on them. Okay, security should back off. He's a Floridian representative. Handing out this sort of grenade is entirely in character, really. And now I want one.
Even if it has an elephant on it?
Well, no, the elephant is completely irrelevant to me because I don't actually like parties. I just like the idea of having a grenade and grenade launcher. Everyone should have one. In that spirit, it is my pleasure to give you a 40mm grenade made from an MK-19 grenade launcher, wrote Mills, who was named to the House Armed Services and Foreign Affairs Committees. In a postscript, he added, "These Florida-manufactured 40mm grenades are inert." The grenade prompted snickering criticism online from Twitter users who responded to a tweet of Mills' gift and the letter. In the spirit of working together, here's an inert grenade, one wrote. Actually, I like this vaguely threatening message to politicians.
Yeah.
In Minecraft. NSA. Piss off. No, none of you, though. You all know who I'm talking to. You all.
Orla.
No.
Oh.
Wait a second. Orla? Are you a Fed? Do you glow in the dark?
Yes, she does.
I don't glow in the dark. How do you think I hunt if I would glow in the dark?
I mean, your eyes do.
Maybe I should start wearing goggles as well.
It can be like tiny little lanterns to scare the enemies to death before you put your claws in them.
I admit it's fun if you're looking out of the closet and someone sees, but generally it's not helpful.
A spokesperson from Mills' office told WKMG in Orlando all necessary commissions were taken, and Capitol Police even escorted staff into the building with them. Each and every one was thoroughly examined. And yeah, actually, I like this. I especially like it if it should make the politicians nervous in some way. Because they should be. But not for me. I'm not going to do anything stupid. I'm just digging a hole now. I should probably stop. And a major question I have, mostly, how did he find the time? Ugandan father, 68, with 102 children, only 2 of whom he can name. Apparently, he didn't have time.
That's really sad.
Yeah, that's kind of pathetic. But honestly, 102 children, how the...
I just want to say that... sorry. Most of those religions in that area that I know of, you're supposed to love every one of your wives equally. So if you can't do that, then you are legally allowed to be slain.
Something's very wrong with culture where this is possible, I would say, in any case.
Yeah. 12 wives, though.
Who he also struggles to remember the names of, says enough is enough and decides to stop having kids. He finally got the idea that maybe he's had enough.
At first it was a joke, but now it has its problems. What?
He admitted in an interview. Yeah, some real soul searching took place here. Musa Kisera says he's now struggling to provide for his vast family. Again, said it was a joke. He has so many children he can't remember most of their names. The Ugandan villager is struggling to provide for his vast family that he says includes 12 wives, whose names he also struggles to remember, 102 children, and an incredible 578 grandchildren, and he now feels enough is enough. Apparently, his family is a significant portion of Uganda itself.
Yes.
There are many conventions that have fewer than 578 attendees, or 680, including all the children and not counting the wives. And of course, death. At first, it was a joke, but now this has its problems. The 68-year-old, who is currently unemployed, told journalists at his homestead in the village of Bugisa, which apparently is entirely filled with his family, and asked, in the Butalea district, a remote rural area of eastern Uganda, with my health failing and merely 2 acres of land, such a huge family, 2 of my wives left because I could not afford the basics like food, education, and clothing. Only 2 of them, though. Who's become something of a tourist attraction, his village said his wives now take birth control to stop the family from expanding further. It's probably a good call on their part, and I'm thinking they probably should have started that. So.
Yeah.
Can you even picture that? How?
You can't even fit all of them in one photo.
I mean, just to pull that off, he had to... Is he just that incredibly virile? And just cycling through one wife and then pregnant on the next until they got knocked up and just went through the 12 repeatedly? How many were born to each? This has to have some major scientific merit and might be actually important for us to remember, as we might be approaching a children of men scenario anyway, so... I have to keeping tabs on this. But, egads. And we're kind to be critical here, not remembering his children's names, but I'm not sure I could remember 102 children's names. I think it's not that good.
But you are expected to remember the names of your children and your spouse is.
Typically, I'm pretty sure I would keep the 12 names of the wives down, no problem, but I'm thinking my memory for children's names would run out somewhere around 50, max. Fortunately, I'll be in no danger of popping out 50 plus kids.
Well, you can't pop out kids.
Who has the time for that?
Yet.
Oh, I'm being distracted now by Sam Smith, who's a non-binary troll who may or may not be self-aware. I can't take him seriously. They tried to prop him as being some sort of major moral scandal, especially with their mock satanic orgy at the Grammys, sponsored by Pfizer. But I don't care if he thinks he's serious or anyone else thinks he's serious or not. That is a silly motherfucker. And I cannot tell him from a British comedian. He looks like James Corden with a slightly more of an attitude.
Sam Smith turns head in a very eccentric, inflatable latex jumpsuit and platform heels as they hit the red carpet. Why would you wear that? How do you sit down wearing that?
Well, I suspect wherever you're sitting down, you're basically cushioned, so anywhere you like. You don't even need a chair. We just tuck the legs behind you. Back to the article.
Sorry.
My ways are on contraceptives, but I'm not. I don't expect to have more children because I have learnt from my irresponsible act of producing so many children that I can't look after, he admitted. He finally learned after 102. Say, better late than never. He married his first wife in 1972 in a traditional ceremony when they were both about 17, and his first child, Sandra Nabwire, was born a year later. Because there were only two of us, I was advised by my brother, relatives, and friends to marry many wives and produce many children to expand our family heritage. And oh boy, did he take that seriously. Attracted by his then status of a cattle trader and butcher, as he said, villagers would offer their daughters hand in marriage, even some below the age of 17. Child marriage was only banned in Uganda in 1995, while polygamy is still allowed in the East African country according to certain religious traditions. Hess, who is 108 and two children range in age from 10 to 50, while the youngest wife is aged about 35. I don't like the fact that she's half his age.
I don't either. That's kind of disgusting, actually.
Especially after the previous details. But, you know, different cultures. Different. Could you imagine being a family and having 111 siblings? That's got to be...
They can make several football teams.
They're all going to have daddy issues.
Yes.
102 people with daddy issues. The challenge is I can remember the name of my first and last born, but some of the children I can't recall their names, he said as he rummaged through piles of his old notebooks looking for details about their births. It's the mothers who helped me identify them. Can you imagine going up to dad and going, "Hi, Dad," and they go, "Who are you?" And they've known you their entire life.
Yeah.
They didn't go for milk and not come back. They've been there the entire time, and they don't remember who you are because there's just too damn many of you. Isn't humanity amazing?
I am kind of giving up hope at this point, to be honest.
Truly, people can adapt to all sorts of exotic and seemingly mind-shattering contexts. Wow. Well, I've got another article to open here, but I don't want to because it's talking about outlawing misogyny on the internet in the UK, and there's just not enough time to cover the sheer retardedness of that. It's like, how are they going to start trying to extradite people from other countries? It just does not pop in the slightest. We don't have time for it. Instead, let's get a game raffled off. Let's see.
Yay!
I believe we have, let's see, Haven, Bernie B, and X Center all competing for a copy of Scum. If there's anyone else in chat who want to compete for a Steam key for the game Scum, now's the time to tag me in chat. Please do so very soon now, because we're rolling at this very moment. First up, Haven, the first to register, with a result of 24, which I'm sad to say does not bode well, but nothing's
always
guaranteed.
happens.
It's truly random. Bernie B, however, just rolled 22. So
I still have a chance.
you still have a chance. Next Hunter just has to lose worse than you. Next Hunter rolled
Oh!
20. Congratulations, Haven. You've just won scum.
Amazing.
You all saw it here. The odds were
That's
not in
never
her
happened
favor.
before. I retract my last statement.
Through no particular effort of their own, they have managed to win with 24. I shall get you the Steam key, and thank you again, Exodus, for providing this copy of Scum to Haven.
Thank you, Exodus.
Okay, we have about 3 minutes, and I think it's time for general promotions. Tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, is the next Roman and Arketer Friendship Artism stream, starting at the same time, lasting for about as long on this same channel. What we're sculpting, I don't remember, or I'm not sure we actually decided, but we'll work that out later. Unless, of course, we have to cancel some reason. I don't know, Fremen. Do you want to confirm you're ready to go on your end? Are you raring to go, Fremen? Are there artistic juices flowing through you? Have you been struck by inspiration?
No, the autistic juices are flowing. I'm sure.
Paying attention, really. Presumably, though, they are, and we're on track to continue. I think
So what's the
mostly
theme?
guns and people. I think that's just well-armed society as a polite society. So, you were saying, Gabe?
What's the theme for tomorrow?
I don't think we actually had it set. Art. There will be art in some manner of sculpting. Let's see how it goes. Any creators in chat, if you have your own channels, your own videos, anything you want to promote, now's the time. Feel free to put on those links. And I suppose otherwise, the next week's schedule is expected to continue as last week's, only I expect to actually do a Thursday show next week, as opposed to last Thursday, which it didn't go through for reasons. It's schedule complications and came up. You know how it is. It's, you know, right? It's happened to all of you, right? You have a stream scheduled, and then something comes up, and your schedule's thrown entirely off, and you simply weren't available for up to 2 hours afterwards. It happens to everyone, doesn't it? Well, we have an interesting subplot.
Ooh, I'm a bad guy.
Ryan, bad guy, has donated $3 to encourage my efforts here. Thank you, Ryman Bad Guy. It is most sincerely appreciated. And I'm glad you were able to make this stream. Everything's called. Existential psychological horrors you put in a fucked up game show for a crime you may or may not have committed. I suspect, well, when I created my character, the crime was arson, and that was pretty plausible. I mean, if I were inclined to snap and do something terrible, it would probably involve fire, but I wouldn't do that because I'm fine. We're fine. All is well. Okay, well, this has been fun. Congratulations again, Haven, on your improbable and very dramatic win. Thank you all who signed up for the raffle. And thank you, for your monetary. Until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable. Ostensibly. And barring, of course, World War III and total nuclear annihilation. But other than that, things are good.